Good morning, gardeners. Well, I got something different out there. I got geese in amongst the plastic rows. I knew we had water out there between the rows. I hadn't been out there yesterday, but don't ask me what would attract geese. That's not a good sign when you're supposed to have just plain old dirt in between the rows, but the geese are out there. And what I don't know what they're going for. It was a sopping wet thing, but yeah, I got 3 geese out there in amongst it. So up north, that direction there, we have some bad storms going. And a matter of fact, Delia and I was saying last night, we're gonna get hammered today. Well, it's kind of dodged it so far, knock on wood. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and get this asparagus picked while I can. We still have another chance around the storms. In the event that these storms avoid us, it might be a chance to pick or to plant some watermelon today, and they need to get planted. So anyway, let's see what happens here. That's kind of farming, you know. You can go in with the best plan until you get knocked in the mouth, according to Tyson. Well, just finished another good asparagus harvest. Got around, I don't know, probably around 7 pounds this morning. And things are a little slow right now, but it'll always pick back up. I'll at least say this about asparagus, and I'll talk to you as we head out here toward the watermelon area. I want to see if I can get on it, but let me at least say this about asparagus. You know, if you're looking to make some money doing market gardening and things like that, not a lot of people in different areas have an abundance of asparagus. There's the strawberries this morning. Now, if you're in Michigan and Minnesota, you might be up against some pretty big producers. I admit that. But for many areas, I know in Virginia, I didn't see people really raising it other than home gardens. Same thing with strawberries. So having your asparagus, having strawberries will actually create some income coming in much earlier in the year. And poor little boogers. That's okra. No, I take it back. I think that's okra. No, that's not. Where is the okra? I can't even tell. These poor little boogers. No, that's squash. That's right. And Delia came out and put seeds up. Just looking at it, I see that the cabbage is in fact looking much better here. Yeah, I guess okra is down here. You know, all these winds, boy, I tell you, winds, and we're at 4.8 inches of rain. It makes it tough. There's okra. Gosh almighty. We're gonna get a fraction of what we started. Oh well, we'll deal with it. And then there's the peppers. If they can just hang on a little bit more, they about got this spring weather whipped. Yeah, there's a lot of them looking pretty good. Even the dill's looking okay. It's starting to poke its head up. It's not perfect, but it's coming on. The green beans are putting on sets of true leaves. Looking pretty good. Got a few gaps in there. Tough rain. So let's get out here and see if, as you recall, there was standing water out here. And I want to see if I can walk on this, because if we can avoid this 9 o'clock rain today, we got more rain coming, but the worst of the winds seem to be down. And the winds is what we've been trying to avoid. And it looks like a lot of the water's gone. Yeah, there is some standing water on that side. Yeah. I think if I get my muck boots, I can plant me some watermelon and cantaloupe today. I have the holes pre-dug. I kind of did that. I thought it'd be good to go in and get some water. I said, you know, if I get some rain in there, that'll help moisten up the ground, make it easier to plant. Little did I realize. But what we have is a 240-foot row, 120 plants per row. And I think I'm ready to go ahead and plant some watermelon today. There's gonna be spots down there. I may have to, maybe I just focus on this end, you know, and do a second planting going the other way. We can do that. So that might be a way of doing it, is getting through this. And this way these plants don't get too old, is do, instead of a long continuous line, well, we can do part of the row, and then it's gonna dry up here next week. So that might be, I think we can get some watermelon planted today by the grace of God, we will. I'll come out here and run a mower down this edge just to help pull that trailer a little easier. And no, that's good. We're finally gonna get some of them plants in the ground, and we'll be in much better shape. That'll be a big relief. I'm gonna head to Illinois this weekend, where my family is. If I can, I'll bring the camera with me. Maybe Mike and Teresa Rogie, my sister and brother-in-law, they'll show us kind of what they got going on their farm. We'll see how that goes, whether we can squeeze it in or not. But no, looking a lot better here. A lot better. Got a little close down there, but still looks pretty good. It'll cover itself up in a couple of days. So I came in the house and dropped off the asparagus with Delia, and told her, I said, hey, we kind of avoided a bullet there. And I said, I think I can go out here and plant some watermelon. At least we have 200 plants that really need to get in. I said, well, I'm gonna go ahead and mow this edge out here, and then I can bring out the plants. And Delia says, well, don't get stuck, referring to the mower. Now the question is, and guess what, I did get stuck. I'm just coming back with the ATV from getting that out. Now the question is, did I get stuck, or did Delia jinx me? I mean, I said I was gonna go mow. Her thought was getting stuck. So I don't know if this is 100% on me that I got stuck. Anyway, yeah, it's cleaning up nice. It wasn't out like I was buried up. It's just one of those depending on your pronunciation, most people would say greasy. I say greasy. Depending on how you look at it, this was greasy ground. Just kind of couldn't get any traction. Didn't really bury anything, but we'll go ahead and I'll finish mowing this edge. And it's good to keep this edge mowed. If you don't, you're just gonna have excessive weed seeds. You got to control it the best you can. Now that I have my mowing done, getting closer to it, I'm gonna go ahead and put some calcium nitrate on my onions. They don't need the water, but I do want to push them a little bit, so adding a little bit of nitrogen to them will help us. So I got everything set up here on the dosatron, and let's drop that in. And I like to tip it. That way, when the water Let me go ahead and get that. There we go. And get that spun around. There we are. So I like to spin that so when the water gets down low, I like to spin it so when the water gets low, it goes right to that corner. So I have it on. There we go. Starting to pump some of that nitrogen. Everything looks pretty good. Let's go on out here toward the field. Do a double check on my water. Now I'm probably going to come over here. Now look at how nice and green those potatoes are. That Colorado potato beetle is, you know, he was all over this. Aphids was all over these. And I'm seeing a little bit of a jump in the potatoes right now. I did give them some 20-20-20 the other day. That's not hurting them at all. I think I need to go ahead and do that again today as well. Colorado or the Yukon Golds are taking off. I'm gonna say, when I was out here spraying, I was looking at some of these smaller potato plants, and they was ate up yesterday. And they had a lot of, or a couple days ago, they had a lot of bugs on them, a lot. And I think they were really being held back pretty bad by the aphids and the Colorado potato beetle. So I'm gonna have to get back on them again in a week to 2 weeks. Here is what we're watering. I came out here to make sure the water lines are on, and they are. I don't have any solenoids to act as banks, but I tell you right now, folks, while that plant is young, let's try to get some nitrogen on them twice a week. One of my watering will be a 20-20-20. The other will be nitrogen, such as calcium nitrate. That's kind of what I'm doing. Plus, I have some fertilizer in the soil. I gave about half the amount of fertilizer that I need to make sure I have a constant source of food for these plants. Even the cabbage here, they could use the benefit of some calcium nitrate as well. But for right now, I want to push them, want to push those onions, get them as big, get that green growth going. It's going to take a while for the line to fill back up, but yeah, it looks good. All right, all the water lines are on only for them, and I do have the other lines off. I double checked that when I was coming through, so no sense being redundant there. You know, those onions died, but whatever the cause, it died. It happens. Probably got some fertilizer burn. I'll just accept it that I did something there, but all in all, everything's looking pretty good. Just need to get our nitrogen to them and push that green growth. Remember, with onions, every one of these leaves is a ring on our onion. That's how we're going to get that really max out, and we're looking, you know, to have 13 leaves on them. That way we can have a nice sized bulb, and if I can push it, I'm going to. So no, these are looking really good considering all the rain we got. They ought to darken up a little bit. They did get some 20-20-20 on them once, and anyway, I need to get down there and start planting some watermelon. Okay, we have a little bit of acorn squash there. I'm gonna go ahead and get that in the ground, and there's the oldest of our plants right there, so I'll walk those down as well. I can't believe it, but finally we're able to get something planted out here. And let's go ahead and, you know, the roots look pretty good on those. They are a combination, I know they're a combination, I didn't look at the side. They're a combination of I think that's not, it's spaghetti squash, it's acorn squash, it's butter squash. I think that's what we got here. And I came on down here to, I'm just kind of wobbling a hole back and forth. I don't really need to dig a hole, I don't think. And we have more rain coming. So we're gonna, you've seen our windy videos. The direction the camera's facing now is south. So, and that's south, that's west. So I'm gonna have anything that's wanting to vine, I'm gonna go ahead and have it so the vine is already heading to the northeast, northeast. So that way, I'll show you. Here's one that's vining. If I do it that way, it's just gonna snap back. So let's go ahead and get it going the right way. It wants to bend that way anyway, so we're gonna let it go that way. There we go. So that's my game plan there. There we are. Continuing on. Okay, now this particular cantaloupe is called Athena, and no, we haven't grown it before. I see I got one kind of snapped here. We'll end up not planting that one, unfortunately, but yeah, it's time to get them in. We got a single true leaf here, and we got a second on the way. We wanted to, I think the second true leaf is or the first true leaf is a good timing to do it. Let's go ahead and take a look at our root. We did repot these, and yeah, that looks good. Very nice, a very good root right there. It's time to get them in. I see I'm gonna have to bust a little more of a hole for them, but that's okay, I'll stretch it out. This guy I got, it is big enough. But there it is, Athena cantaloupe, our very first one planted. Now last year, we had crows so bad that they were, as soon as these poor things come up, a crow came there, pulled out the young seedling that was just popping out of the ground, and got it pulled up, pecked the center of the seed. That was the end of the cantaloupe. That was the end of the watermelon. And we did a replant also on our pumpkins a couple of times, and so it was just so expensive. Now we're kind of ahead of the game, because here we are May 2nd, and we are getting plants in the ground. We wanted to be out a little earlier, but I guess we're fortunate we didn't have anything. So let's go ahead and go do our next one. I'll go ahead here and poke this Athena. Actually, I'll save that because I think we might want to use that for more seeds. Being careful here that I do not break it, but no, these look good. Well done, Delia. And our plastic is nice and tight around it. Won't be a lot of flopping in this bed. We really did a good job by the time we got into row 3. Kind of got it figured out to where we have a nice tight bed without ripping the plastic. So, all right, let's keep going. So again, what I'm doing, I'm really just trying to enlarge this hole. I don't need to go too deep, but I do need to go down. And there's a little corn stubble. There we are. I'm just planting it down to where it originally was. Everything's good. Yeah, nice. Dump it out. It's laying with the, we'll make sure it lays with the wind. But I'm not over planting it deeper than where the soil line already is. There we go. Nice and tight. Boy, they're going in nice. Yep. That's all I'm doing. Wobbling it out and sticking the seed in it. Now we're going to be cooking with gas now. These Athenas look nice.
These are the older batch. They're leggier than the first batch.
See, I got one here we're not going to plant, and that was just it's just bad luck. Yep, here's a small one.
If I'm catching up, just leave the little pot there and I'll pick it up.
You sure?
Yep. Unless you see them, then I'm getting the kind.
If you're right there, I'm going to dump it out. Like this. Look at that. It ain't gonna wait. That way I can keep all this stuff together. We are moving like the wind, and we're getting closer to the water. Delia may want to come over on my side. Delia, you want to come over here?
I'm okay so far.
Well, you ain't gonna have much more to go. All right.
I'm waiting now.
Now you're... because I'm wearing many hats. Here's another small one. Plus, you repotted these, right? I mean,
yes.
they look good. Yeah,
Repotted.
but they're perfect. I mean, they got a great.
No, I didn't. I put them in these big pots.
You originally?
Yes.
Oh, I think you did. I think you're telling me if you.
No, you're right. I did it in the 50.
Yeah.
I did
Yes.
I did it in the strawberry.
Yeah. Yes.
In the 50s.
Yep. And then she transferred it.
Yeah.
Look at that pile of dirt. Hold on one second.
That makes it good because now it makes a nice big wedge.
And, all right. Well, we won't do it in the future. All right. The wedge. The Kansas wedge. The Kansas wedgie.
Where's your mind going to?
No. Well, I was thinking actually of Gail Sayers, who was the Kansas Rocket. That's who I was thinking of. Then you get thinking of tornadoes, which are wedge tornadoes. just go ahead and let me have it. Well, I was able to go ahead, get some calcium nitrate on my potatoes, onions, and cabbage over here. Really didn't want to water anything, but it's just time. I'm gonna head back to Illinois and see family, so I need to go ahead and get that next fertilizer in. Looking pretty good, looking really good. So everybody's going. I'd say there, if it was dry, I'd go ahead personally and try to hill them potatoes. And then once they're about a foot tall, it's good to go ahead and throw some dirt up there on them, and I don't have to go crazy, just enough to kind of cover the lower end, make sure there that I don't have any potatoes sticking out, any green potatoes. But anyway, got that done, and coming down here, Miss Delia and I can't believe it, but we did all right. And again, the green beans the deer haven't found them yet, so looking okay. We ended up, there you go, there's a deer, one of them old, what do they call that? Not a spit deer. Can't think of the name of that bird to save me. Anyway, got all the cantaloupe, the older cantaloupe planted. Now we have succession planting, so we have more cantaloupe and we have more watermelon. It just wasn't the way we wanted to do it, but with the water, we were truly mucking in our cantaloupe and watermelon. I went down as far as I could, and that's all I could go. We were sinking too much in that standing water. Now we have a little bit of rain in the forecast. We have a little bit of but we got some sun in the forecast. The big thing that I was trying to avoid was the 25 to 35 mile an hour winds. Now I'm not saying we're not going to have it. Here's the last. This one is crimson sweet. These couple rows are crimson, if not, I think two. And then we got 2 rows of sangria right there. So we have our sangria, and I have a little bit of crimson sweet. I couldn't quite get in. It was just too darn wet, and I was sinking. So they're still pretty. They're young like this over here, so I got a little bit of time. Don't make it till we get around Monday, Tuesday of next week. Hopefully some of that water will recede back even more, giving me the opportunity to go in there and get those planted. But no, it looks pretty good. I'm real happy with it, and the big thing again is the 25 to 35 mile an hour winds. Just worried about them snapping the necks of them little plants. These guys have been hardened off, but there's nothing really you can do to a young seedling like putting them in the soil and saying, okay, you're on your own, you're not coming in at night, you're not gonna have a building to kind of block some of the wind from you. So that's the difference of it. So anyway, we'll see how we're doing. The other variety of cantaloupe is Anthian, and that's Anthian right there. I already gave you the other one, and I can't remember the name of it, but that's going to work out pretty nice. It's going to look pretty good, and in the end, succession planting, it'll all be good. We'll be picking on this end when we first start picking, and just use the ATV and get a little closer back here, and then we'll turn right around and go the other, we'll be on that end on the rest of the crop. So no, it looks pretty good. Delia actually has 2 more plantings done. Each week she's planted a little bit more watermelon and a little bit more cantaloupe. So yeah, no, we have altogether, I think, 3 different plantings. The big thing is we don't know how many melons we can get per plant, whether you're talking watermelon or cantaloupe, and by variety. So we don't know. We were a little nervous of putting too much out there at one time, because that's a lot of melons we have to get rid of. Granted, melons, you have a little bit more time to sell those, guys. Not like sweet corn, where really it's a 3-day window from the time you pick it to I'm talking about keeping it as sweet as you can. And no, when sweet corn's ready, sweet corn's ready. When a strawberry's ready, strawberry's ready. Well, the melons gives us a little more time, so I'm happy about that. We can stay ahead of that a little bit, but we didn't want to do too much at one time. If you guys have any experience with growing melons and cantaloupe, and how many plants, or how many plants or how much fruit can you get per plant, and that type of a thing, and how long does the fruit last if picked on time. Mind you, I understand you don't want it to get too far ahead of yourself where you're not getting it picked. I've seen that scenario. And but anyway, let us know in the comments section. Hey, if you like these types of videos, do us a favor and hit that thumbs up and go at that like button and hit subscribe. We'd love to have you come grow with us.